Welcome back to Rubber Podcast. Currently, we got 0 viewers. So, Mike, how was your day?
It was good, busy. Worked a little late today, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, just,
That's awesome.
making the dough to feed a family.
So are we. Yeah, everyone, I guess. Yeah, it was a good day for me too. I think work is catching up, and yeah, got a lot of like news about like North Korea. I've been just hearing so
Yeah.
much.
Okay, well, why don't we go through some of that? What have you heard so far? So this
Yeah,
is like
yeah,
you
yeah.
on like major news network, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. It's from like the major news outlets.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, this is like the Robert Ducking podcast, and it's
Uh-huh.
gonna be a special episode.
That's right.
Just trying to see if we can get audience engagement and have them ask questions and just
Yeah.
hang out with us.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on the who joined us and who's
Who's
listening.
not?
We can pull up the chat to see if we can take some questions.
Yeah, for sure.
But until then,
yeah,
what
yeah.
have you heard?
So, I mean, like, I'm sure if have internet and a cell phone, I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about North Korean soldiers going into Ukraine,
Oh yeah.
and aiding the Russian regime, right, for the Ukraine war.
Uh-huh.
And I felt very bad for the soldiers. It's
Of
really bad.
course.
It's like they're wasting, right? They're wasting their lives for North Korean. Like, honestly, I'm sure Kim Jong Un doesn't really care if they live or die.
Right.
And on top of that, I am sure once the military, like, I am 100% sure that Kim Jong Un send those military, right, send those people to
Uh-huh.
Ukraine to die. He had no intentions to actually bring them back into North Korea, even if they
Wow.
survive. You know why? Can you guess any? Like, can you guess why?
Well, based on what you have told me in the podcast so far, because they've seen the outside world now,
Outside
they've
world,
been
that's
exposed to
correct.
the truth, so therefore they know that North Korea is not number one.
Right,
And
internet.
so on and so forth.
Right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
People are
Yeah.
exposed to internet, and people like never can go back. Right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um. Hang on. Let's do this really quick.
Yeah.
Well, we got no.
I mean, we don't have any viewers. While we're waiting for people
while
to
we
join it.
wait.
Yeah. We're trying to make sure that we can pull up our chat so we can, if we do have an audience.
That's right.
Oh, we do have one concurrent viewers. Thank you, whoever's tuning in. We are making sure that we can see your chat right now. Special episode of Rubber Ducking Podcast talking about the current issues regarding North Korea. We were just talking about how we saw some news of North Korean soldiers being sent to Ukraine to fight in the war on behalf of Russia. And Charles had asked a question. Kim Jong-un doesn't really care if they live or die. And if they do live somehow, he doesn't even want them back at their home country to see their families or so on and so forth anymore. Any guess as to why?
So I would have to do the two-step verification. I will be right back.
All right, we will be right back. And we're back.
We are back. Thank
we
you
see
so
the
much.
chat.
Yes, that is correct. Mike was actually mentioning that because the North Korean soldiers have seen too much, and they really don't want them back, right? And also interesting thing that also I also heard on the news recently was that North Korean soldiers are hooked on pornography in in Russia, right? Because
Uh-huh.
they got access to computers, and and the internet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's I mean it's quite, I don't know, quite sad.
Of course.
And yeah, I just didn't know how I felt about it, but of course like I'm more on the like angry side, right? Because like they don't have the freedom of internet and they don't really know about anything, and just
Yeah.
like kept in just like this place of controlling, right? It's like, yeah, so yeah, I mean, I guess they're learning it one or the other way, which is learning now. But yeah, I've also heard that there was like a big fight between the Ukraine and North Korean soldiers, and
Yeah.
a lot of them died actually, and a lot of them didn't make it back. And one soldier actually, didn't you mention that?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
There was I mean, this is all right, alleged, and we do have to be careful about what kind of information gets shared out by the the media and of course the propaganda machines of each country.
Right.
But the person on the video,
Mhm.
purportedly a soldier, was injured, lots of bandages, was speaking Korean that seemed to have a North Korean accent,
Mhm.
and spoke about how they were lied to by the Russian soldiers, that they were just going to participate in a defense mission where they have to hold their position.
I see.
But in fact, that was not the case. They were ambushed or attacked, so a lot closer to the front than they had anticipated. The soldier talked about how the Russian soldiers did not go scout to see whether it's safe to go out or not, and a lot of the soldiers ended up getting killed in action.
Mhm.
And really sadly, that soldier that did survived by hiding underneath his comrades' bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I, at the end of the day, just North Korea is already a tragedy, and the people who are already living in the tragedy being sent to the front lines of another country's war to die is
Yeah,
just
to
another
fight for
level.
another man's,
Right.
Yeah. Greed and
Mhm.
and the money.
Right.
I think that's outrageous.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm sure those like the militaries, like the soldiers who got chosen, right? And thinking about it, like I am sure they're handpicked. They're handpicked by regime.
Oh, you think so?
The people who are loyal to the regime.
Oh, wow.
And well, the reason is because like there is high probability
Uh-huh.
that once they experience outside of North Korea,
Uh-huh.
they will escape, right? Once they
Mm.
have like tasted this freedom
I
of
see.
internet and
Mm.
food and and this freedom, right? I mean, Russia is not as free as America, right? But
That's
still, coming
Oh,
from
compared
North
to
Korea,
North Korea,
compared to North
yeah.
Korea, exactly, yeah.
There's internet.
There is internet, there is cell phones, right?
Uh-huh.
And the food is not, if food is not like
Mm.
really bad in like North Korea,
Right. Right.
because the North Korean soldiers, when I was in North Korea, I've often hear this, I guess like a gossip of
Mhm.
people talking about the North Korean like soldiers, and because they don't feed them enough, right? And there is
Uh-huh.
not enough food
Right.
to go around. And I've heard that if the war is going to happen,
Uh-huh.
like 90% of the armies will return fire to their
To
own
their own
like
leaders.
superiors.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
right,
because of the physical abuse and the starvations, right? And yeah, there's a lot of abuses that are happening, and
Wow.
it's 12 years, right? You have to serve in the military for
12
12
years.
years.
Wow.
And serving in that military, like people get married in military, and they basically grew up in military,
yeah.
and you can bribe your way into like a better place, like better, like let's say that, I mean, every single country, every single city in
Uh-huh.
North Korea has like a military base,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like Sariwon, Hamhung, Pyongyang, and Ganggae or Chongjin, or it's like all of these different cities has a military base.
Uh-huh.
And depending on how much money you have, you can bribe the 신체검사, like the what you call it, the guy who does the examination,
Yeah,
your
the physical exam, right?
physical
Yeah.
exams.
Uh-huh.
You can bribe that person, and you can like 신청, you can request,
Uh-huh.
because like, oh, I have such a good eyesight, or because I'm such a good runner, or
Uh-huh.
something like that. You can
Yeah.
actually request to go to that specific city,
Uh-huh.
meaning that if you go to a certain town, right, there is nothing else. 100% you're gonna be forced to do either farming or constructions, right? And
Right.
all day, every day. I mean, as we found out that North Korean soldiers shoots like average of like 7 bullets a year,
A year,
right?
right.
In training, what are they gonna do with like all those militaries in in the city? So they are putting them into work. So by bribing to the examiner, they can go to a better place. So if they went to Pyongyang, right?
Yeah.
That would be a great place. But of course, like you can't go to Pyongyang because like only chosen selected.
That's right.
Few
Yeah,
people
you
goes
gotta
there.
have the right, the origin, right?
Qualification.
Yeah,
The Tokbo, right?
yeah,
And
it's essentially like it's a class-based society, right? Based on
Right.
where you're born,
right. Yeah.
and
So
who you're born to.
right, and think about also going to military in the border town like Hesan, Namyang, all this like border town that faces China. Once you're there, like sure, first like a couple of years will be difficult because there's gonna be a lot of abuse. There's gonna be a lot of like training, right? And it's gonna be really tough. But once you get around to it, you will be able to at least until 2011, right? I mean, now it's like 13 years has passed,
Right.
So things might be different in North Korea, and I'm pretty sure it is because the number of people escaping North Korea has been significantly decreased since 2012, since Kim Jong-un came to power, and especially with the COVID. But until then, military can actually get bribes and help the smugglers to do their business. So going to different town, that determines the quality of your life.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Right. Whereas if you end up in like Gangwon-do, where it's like nowhere.
It's the middle of nowhere.
is
So you
like
just
middle
be
of
farming.
nowhere. You'll be farming
Whole 10 years or 12
whole
years.
10 years, like 12, basically 12 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Farming, constructions, and
And just as a reminder, do you get paid for any of this?
no.
No
You do not
compensation.
get no. I'm sure you will get like $5,000 to get a haircut. I mean, there is no haircut. It's all like provided for you.
Oh,
So
wait, what do you mean? But $5,000?
Sorry, 5,000 North Korean won.
Oh, okay, that's very different.
Which is like 50 cents.
Oh.
It's like literally like 50 cents.
See.
Yeah, I don't think military gets paid. I don't think they get paid
So
to do
it's service.
so.
Service
It's like a service for your
because
your
you're loyal to
country.
the regime. Yeah.
Yeah, if in our audience, if you guys know if North Korean military gets paid or not, please do let me know because
Yeah. I don't think they do either, based on what I read so far. But yeah, I'm not
okay.
100% sure. So
Yeah. All right. So someone in the chat asked, "What is the meaning of this?" And don't tell me what to think of.
well, thank you for joining Punch Bowl
Yeah.
Haircut. What are we doing, Charles? What is
so-
this about?
Yeah, so this is a special Rubber Ducking episode, Rubber Ducking podcast episode, where I thought, share my story with the audience and have audience engagement. You guys can ask questions, I answer, but until a lot of people can join, I thought, just talk about the current issues that are happening, like Russian war, the trash balloons, and
many other things that are happening. And I actually do have a question for you there. First, with internet,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest threat to the
Mm.
North Korean regime
Mhm.
about the soldiers who got deployed to Russia having internet access at this point?
Yeah, that's a great question. And in my personal opinion, like I've mentioned earlier in the stream, North Korea, like Kim Jong-un, he had no intentions of getting them back. And even if they survived, I don't think he was going to accept them. So regardless of regardless of what they do, North Korean regime will not care. It's
I
like a kind of like a dead.
I see. So it's at least, as far as the soldiers are concerned, like it was a one-way ticket out.
But
Unfortunately to the battlefield, so that they are most likely going to get hurt or even
Right.
killed.
Yeah,
So it
and
doesn't seem like there's any risk to
North
um,
Korean regime itself, yeah,
Okay,
to
wow.
them. So that's just my personal
I
opinion. I'm
see.
sure somebody would disagree with me, but like we can look at like countless examples, right? And there was a country, I think it's like Saddam Hussein, no, Gaddafi,
Gaddafi, yeah. Uh-huh.
Muhammad Gaddafi, right? What's the country? It's the middle
Libya?
Libya,
Yeah.
right? So when the Libya fell, there was North Korean workers actually working in Libya, but when the Saddam Hussein got overthrown, they did not accept those workers back because they've seen like what happened in Libya, and they were afraid. North Korean regime was afraid that if they were to accept North Korean workers back, then something might have happened. And even after they accepted those workers back to North Korea, they were sent to political prison camp. Yeah, and heavily
within North Korea,
heavily brainwashed. Yeah, and so looking at that example and looking at that, I don't think they're ever going to accept them back.
Wow. I mean, was there any particular reason that North Korea said that they had to end up in the folks who returned from Libya? Did they have to? Was there any reason?
They were afraid. North Korean regime was afraid.
But did they like say? Well, I mean, they had to have some sort of reason why they had to go to prison camp. No, they just
right, yeah. I mean, honestly, they don't really need they don't really have to have, because like nobody knows. Like,
oh wow,
it's not the secret police just comes in and just takes them away, and they don't.
And then they don't have to give any reason to the people at all.
No. Yeah. Maybe to the family, right? Maybe to the family, but they're gonna create some outrageous lie about why they were to do this. But to the public, like I didn't even know when I was in North Korea, like going out to different countries to work, I didn't know that was an option.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And therefore, North Korean people really don't know what's happening outside of your town.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Another question that I had was, I was actually quite shocked to hear that North Korea didn't already have pornography, because the logic goes for me is like, while you're a dictatorship, there's a very limited amount of entertainment and things to get people distracted away from the reality, harsh realities of life. Yet North Korea is a pornography-free zone.
It is. Yeah, North Korea is. The reason,
strange, amazing.
Well, it is not. It is not strange at all, because North Korea doesn't want you to get a haircut that is longer than your, like, comes below your eyebrow, which represents like Western styles.
Yeah.
Right. And pornography, and I mean they even ban South Korean dramas and
that's right.
And some clean movies. I don't think they would allow pornography in North Korea at all. Right.
Wow.
And actually this is an interesting topic, because when I was in North Korea, I just heard it. Like, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I heard it. And in Hamhung, there was a public execution for 3 people, 1 man and 2 women, because they watched pornography and they followed whatever was in the pornography.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they got publicly executed for it, because they are soaked in like Western culture.
Oh, so it gets kind of wrapped up into this, like, that's what the Western culture, evil Americans do.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and they
okay.
don't allow you to wear clothes that have like USA.
Right.
Or like a. At some point, they banned English letter on them. But I think they got rid of it, because I mean, a lot of different countries, like, they have like English characters, right?
Right. Yeah.
But especially the ones that had USA on them, like they banned them.
Wow.
Yeah. And even jeans were banned too.
Oh yeah, the blue jeans.
Like blue jeans,
they
you
were
can't
too
wear.
American.
Yeah, too American, and thinking of, and also like, there's only 1 TV channels, and every single media, right? It's heavily controlled. Like I mean, somebody brought this to me that there might be pornography in North Korea, like Bible, right? it exists in North
so
Korea.
it might have kind of trickled in somehow,
Yeah,
smuggled in.
yeah,
Oh,
smuggled
okay.
in,
Oh,
but
interesting.
it's not organic grown. It's not organic,
It's not
homegrown.
I see, gotcha. So the government is not involved in producing any of those content
no.
or anything like that.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. That is interesting. I mean, it's pretty unique. You know, like aside from all the atrocities that are going on, I don't know if you can say if there's any country in the world that doesn't have pornography.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
maybe,
North Korea-
maybe,
well, if-
maybe Vatican City.
Where there's no electricity, no internet. I mean, if you watch pornography in North Korea, you will get killed. So
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
people probably, I mean, there is some hooligans, might want to do I mean, despite of all, these kind of things happening, like, oh,
Mhm.
you're gonna go to like 4 years prison camp
Mhm.
if you watch South Korean drama.
Mhm.
You're gonna go to like 6 months of like
Mhm.
forced labor
Uh-huh.
re-educational camp if you were to have your hairs too long, below
Uh-huh.
your eyebrow. But I'm sure there are kids who are, like want to like
Uh-huh.
watch like
Uh-huh.
South Korean dramas and American movies, like Hollywood movies,
Uh-huh.
like I did.
That's right. Another thing that kind of piques my interest, and just to contrast in South Korea, pornography, although South Korea, it is illegal to produce it. So when I was a child, there was no like adult films or like legally produced,
Yeah.
at least in the 90s.
Right.
But nonetheless, still like the Western media,
Right.
right? It will get smuggled in and will get trickled in, and it's just I'm sure it was all illegal, but people still had them, and
Yeah.
that was the case. But it makes me wonder, there are teenagers everywhere in the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even if there is no pornography, people ought to get curious as you date, right?
Right.
As you have a girlfriend or boyfriend. But I know that that's also very dependent on the culture,
Right.
Very
Yeah.
conservative culture, say Middle East, like all that is very heavily customarily frowned upon, right? Courting between opposite
Arranged
sexes,
marriage.
yeah,
and-
and things like that. So I am curious because in terms of just the opposite sexes, dating and kind of hanging out and having romance, what is that like in North Korea?
Yeah.
Like there are varying kind of things that happen, right? It can go all the way from just people dating, and then maybe do people like live together? When, if so, at what age do people start doing that? And does anyone get like accidentally pregnant or anything like teen pregnancy like in America? How does all that work in North Korea?
Yeah, that is a great question. And I may not be the expert in that field because I
Uh-huh.
left North Korea at young age. But I mean, like at least my friends, right? In our neighborhood who
Uh-huh.
were a little bit older than I was and who are right before they go into military, like they all have girlfriends, right? They all
Oh,
like date.
Okay.
And
How is that like perceived by, say, the older people or the rest of the
I
society?
mean, they don't know. It's like
Oh, it's all
pretty
secret?
secretive.
Oh,
yeah.
people keep it all hush hush that they got.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
dating.
so
So
it's-
can you date openly?
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but at least what I've seen, it's all under the like it's all kept a secret.
So like their family necessarily wouldn't know.
Yeah, well,
Their
their
family.
their family didn't really know.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um,
And what? How old were they?
I would say like 17.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
Okay.
Like right after graduating
I
high
see.
school. Like I'm sure, like, cause like before they go to military, I'm
Uh-huh.
sure like they're like, oh, I'll wait for you, or
yeah, of
you
course.
wait for me, kind of like those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean it's typical age that people start dating. Like late
Right,
teens.
right,
Okay,
yeah,
It's very
and-
natural.
and some of them even like at 16,
Uh-huh.
and they start like I think dating,
Uh-huh.
more of like hanging out.
I see.
It's not like dating, right?
But they
'Cause,
have
like,
the feelings towards each other.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
feelings
Uh-huh.
feelings towards each other and hang out. And
Uh-huh.
after school, I would see like people like walk together. Sorry, one in the chat is keeps saying Big Chungus. Do you know what Big Chungus is?
No, what is that?
Okay, let me show you what Big Chungus is.
All right.
Since we don't have anybody in the chat.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain this, but let's see. Oh. Okay, everybody, this is officially funny now. So
Yeah,
I
Big
encourage all
Chungus.
of you to go search Big Chungus on Google.
Yes,
Are there any in North Korea?
Big Chungus. I mean, hey, if this was in North Korea, I mean, this would have been a very entertaining, a fat rabbit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there is no like obesity in North Korea, right?
Oh,
Like,
that's interesting. No obesity in North Korea.
No.
Well, I mean, I know at least one very
Oh.
obese North Korean person.
who is
But
very
in generally speaking, in the civilians, like not have
no-
you seen one person?
no, I have not.
Not even one.
Like the level of American obesity, no.
Mm.
Like going to gym,
Uh-huh.
like that was such a strange concept to me. and working out to lose weight, like running
Uh-huh.
to lose weight, like that was such a strangest concept ever.
Oh wow.
Yes, that's right. Kim Jong Un is a big chungus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, dating cultures. And so you've asked like if there is like a accidental pregnancy and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm just curious because like these things happen. It's a problem in the society everywhere. But is that something that you've run into?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Rape happens a lot in North
Oh, my.
Korea. Yeah. There was so in Suncheon,
Uh huh.
and because like the girls don't go to military,
Uh-huh.
and because they don't go to military, they all have to enlist in the factories to work. Like right after graduate,
Oh, they're required to do
they're
that.
required
Okay.
to enlist in the factories,
Uh-huh,
local
uh-huh.
farming or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I remember one of our neighbor, she got raped at night, and she couldn't say anything because like it's an embarrassment, right? It's an
Oh,
embarrassment
wow.
to speak up, like, oh, it happened.
So
to
there's
me.
no protection whatsoever for the victim. I mean,
No.
does like if what if the secret police or the regime found out? Do they do anything about that, or do they investigate?
I don't think they will.
Wow.
Like, what if it was one of that secret police? What if it's
Oh,
what if
the
it's
perpetrator could have been.
could have been
wow.
been that person, like it. And also, given the fact that every male, right, in North
Uh-huh.
Korea,
Yeah.
in the city who
Yeah.
graduated school,
Uh huh.
they have to go to military,
Yeah.
right? And they're gone.
Uh-huh.
Like the young men, they're gone.
Uh-huh.
So now it's gonna be people who are over 30, right? So it could
Uh-huh.
have been like somebody's dad. It could have been like someone who
Wow.
works in the factory. It might have been some high profile.
I
like
see.
those
So people who
people-
have a lot of power against these relatively underprivileged
People.
of the people
Yeah.
working in the factory. Oh wow.
It could be. It's just,
Right, I
It's just like a running theory in
I
the
see.
neighborhood.
Oh.
And speaking of that, and it's as sad as it is,
Mhm.
like if you go to like during the winter,
Uh-huh.
like if you go to like river, like you will see like dead like a child, like not like I guess like a abortion, like a feces.
Fetus, you mean?
Sorry,
Feces is poo poo.
Fetus. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
fetus. Yeah, so when I was in Changjin, that was like when I was like 7 or 8.
Uh-huh.
Like
Wow.
yeah, I went to river and I've seen like a frozen like
Oh my
fetus.
God.
Yeah, in the river.
Wow.
So which happens, which confirms it happens. Like there's
Uh-huh. So the children, perhaps of unwed mothers, can get abandoned.
right. Yeah, I mean
Wow.
even like the newborns are being abandoned, right?
Right,
Because like how can they take care of them? Like how?
Right.
Yeah. So it's sad, and I'm not sure if it. I'm pretty sure it's still happening in North Korea, right? I mean, people say that 10 years it could change a lot of things, but I'm sure it's one of those things that probably
Right.
wouldn't change because
Yeah.
the living situation in North Korea is pretty bad.
Yeah. Wow. I almost regret asking that question. It was
Yeah,
not meant to be that dark. I'm sorry.
It got
But
turned
it's
pretty dark.
the reality of North Korea. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Jack. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, if you have any questions for Charles, please feel free
let me
to
know.
ask. And just to maybe turn things around, that was a dizzying
Yeah,
reality check of what's going on in North Korea. But I mean, that's part of the reason why you're doing this is to bring more attention to this. So
Yeah,
there are
awareness
just these
to-
travesties that are going on in the United States, we sit in our comfortable homes and
Yeah.
worry about these theoretical problems that are happening in the world. But, as Charles reiterated many times before, people are living in these what we call stories
Right. Yeah.
now.
It happens to. It
Uh,
happens to.
25 million North Koreans.
Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah, please, questions welcome. We do see the chats coming in. Nice to see the little friendly chat between an Australian buddy and our punch bowl haircut buddy. Please keep them going. Love your engagement. Let's change the topic a little bit. I know this is something that we wanted to talk about in our podcast before, but we wanted to stay on your chronicles. Transportation. We talked about.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We talked about trains
Uh-huh.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But what about other transportation? So like me growing up, I've been on a train, I've been on a boat, I've been in a car, I've been on a bus.
Yeah.
Like what are some other transportation options that you've been on in North Korea?
I've been on trucks. I've been on train.
Uh-huh.
I have not been on boats in
No
North
boat.
Korea. No boats.
Oh, okay.
No boat and bicycle.
Oh, okay.
Like that's the main transportation.
I see.
And a funny thing. So because North Korea technologically in a like a stone age,
Uh-huh.
almost the stone age. So there is a car
Uh-huh.
that's been running with like a steam.
Oh yeah, that's
Steam
it's called
car.
moktancha, which is a
Moktancha,
wood burning
car. Yeah.
car.
It-
Actually, it's not steam. I read up on this recently. I was fascinated because it's the gas that gets generated
By the
the
wood.
burning wood. It gets fed
Uh-huh.
into an internal combustion engine, and that's what turns the car.
so
But
wait,
you've seen this?
I've seen it. I've wrote on
Please
it
tell me
too.
more.
No, yeah, it's like
wait, we wrote it on the
yeah,
car.
I wrote on it. Yeah, so it's on the corner of like like right behind the driver's seat, right behind the
Ah.
driver's seat, and
Like, is it like a sedan or
no, it's a truck.
Oh,
It's a pickup truck.
So
It's a
in the
pickup
bed
truck.
of the truck is where the
yeah,
this,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
big
It's big.
wood
Yeah,
stove.
stove, and you will see like tars coming out of it, and it's not safe at all.
What do you mean?
Like now, because you could get burned. Like if you touch it,
Oh.
it's really hot. Just so you know.
Just say, wait. So that also means that you're sitting in the bed of the truck.
Yes, we
Like
are all
cargo.
like we're all holding onto the car like the truck, and
I see.
you will see, and the smoke gets into your eye. It's pretty bad, and you will see this you will see tars coming out of like the pot, as you call it. Yeah, it's. And also the way that you turn the engine on, there is there is no key turning. You literally have to go in front of the car.
Oh,
and
you
then
have to
you
crank
manually
it yourself.
have to like
Okay.
crank.
So
the
what's the
engine.
process? Is that the wood already burning at this point?
Yeah, wood is already burning,
Okay.
and then it's like ready to go. It's like
Oh,
there's
okay.
something is feeding into the car.
You just
and
gotta
then-
turn and crank the
Yeah,
thing.
and then you have to like do it really fast.
For how long?
As long until the engine starts, and also the tractor too. There is a tractor that actually does this too.
Yeah.
And you have to really be careful because it's really tough, right? And you could actually like slip, out of
Yeah.
your hand. When that happens, there's momentum, so it could actually come and hit your chin.
Oh.
And it could actually like cut your chin.
Oh
and,
my
and it
goodness.
would bleed.
Oh wow.
So there's many cases like that in the
People
military.
bleeding from
Yeah,
the chin.
I would see like people with like bloody jeans. It's like, oh yeah, I know.
You know
why
what
that
happened? They're turning the engine for the wood burning car.
Right.
That's wow. How fast does this thing go?
It's not really fast. Well, I mean, like I would say like 25 to 35 miles per hour
Top
in that
speed.
top speed in that zone. And
see.
every time the car goes by, like there's smoke,
Black smoke coming out the-
smoke coming out, and also the dirt road. The dirt's
Oh,
just like
Wow.
it's
That's
and every
crazy.
time a car goes by, I have to go like this because the smoke and the dust
Uh-huh.
it's just crazy.
Wow. That's
Um,
interesting.
Yeah, but also in North Korea, speaking of transportation, it's like you would see the pictures of like Pyongyang, right,
Uh-huh.
where there's like there's a concrete road and
Yeah.
it's clean, and sometimes you would see like taxi drives by.
Yeah.
There is nothing like that in the smaller cities. There's nothing like that. There's
No
no
paved
paved
road?
roads. No paved
Not one?
roads. Not well. There are some paved roads, but that road is connecting to Pyongyang because I am from Suncheon,
Yeah.
right? So I lived relatively closer to Pyongyang.
Uh-huh.
So that roads are connected to Pyongyang. So if you take that road, and
it will
then
take you to
it will take you to
Pyongyang.
Pyongyang.
Wow.
So besides that main road, there is no paved roads.
It's all dirt.
It's all dirt,
That's wild.
and whenever it rains or snows, it gets defrosted.
Oh,
It's
all
muddy,
muddy.
you know.
Okay.
And especially because of that, no cars can drive. But the cattles
Uh-huh.
can actually.
Oh,
there's a what do you call it? 달구지 in
it's
English?
I mean, it's cart, right? I mean, it's not quite the wagon, right?
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's not even a wagon. No covering or anything.
Yeah.
So
and also eating cow. Yeah, eating cow in North Korea is illegal because
why is that?
Because there is no transportations, right? So they're
Uh-huh.
using cows as a farming animals. So killing a
Oh.
cow is as equivalent as killing a person, and you will be publicly executed because that
Equivalent to killing a person.
yes, because that cow belongs to the government, and that's a government property, right?
Wow.
And if you kill a government official,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
a part of, yeah. So no, I'm serious. It's
I see. So the
yeah.
cows are the government officials
basically
plowing the fields for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
and you will see this. You will see this like pictures, like I've seen it to like pictures of like a cow that actually walking with the wagon on the back,
Uh-huh.
and basically like malnourished, like bones.
Oh,
just so
so we
bad.
can't really think about cows like we do see on the fields of the
No,
United States.
not-
They're all really skinny
really
cows.
skinny.
Oh,
Like you
man.
would see like rib cage, and their their
Wow.
hips and just like
I mean, have you seen a
all
cow that's
bony.
like pretty well
Chunky?
fed? Chunky, yeah.
like big
Chungus?
chungus.
Just Chungus?
No, I have not.
Wow.
And cows are really smart. Like they're
yeah, I
they're
heard that,
really
yeah.
smart. And one time, like I was on a cattle a couple of times. I was on the cattles,
So it's
and
part of your transportation.
right,
is
it's
that
part of transportation. So, like cows knows like when they're going to work,
Oh.
and then when they're coming back home.
Oh,
So
interesting.
whenever they're going to work,
Uh-huh.
they just go really slow because they don't want to go. But when they're coming home, they're just running. at
Oh,
night.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
because they're excited.
Yeah,
to
because they're
go
really
home
excited to go home and
rest.
just eat and whatever. Yeah, it's quite. For me, it was. I mean, for me, it was just like day to day life, right? In North
Yeah.
Korea, so I wouldn't think much of it.
Right.
But coming to America, it's just like cars everywhere, paved roads everywhere.
we don't
yeah.
ride cows.
We
for,
don't
uh,
ride.
yeah, for entertainment only.
Yeah, so it was quite different, quite a different experience. As I tell people all the time, like it feels like jumping into a time machine and just fast forwarding 50 years into the future.
Wow.
That's how I feel.
Right.
Yeah, but life here is good. I don't need to ride cows. I don't need to ride
Yeah,
bicycle.
the man drives a hybrid. How far he's come. The
Yeah.
electricity that he did not have in his house is now driving him to
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 work. Yeah, it's I really hope that somehow North Korea opens up. Like they don't have to be politically opens up, right?
Uh-huh.
Because right now, like Kim Jong Un is doing
Uh-huh.
is he's like burning the bridge as he crossing it. right?
Yeah.
Because he's allowing people to be more flexible with like cell phone uses, right? Though it's like $1,400 when
Mm.
average North Korean's salary is like $800 to $1,200.
Mhm.
So think about that. It's just like really expensive, and
Yeah.
you can't really get it. And it's heavily monitored. And if you want to install an app on your phone, you
Mhm.
literally have to go to a physical app store, and you have to purchase the
Hold
app.
on. Physical app store?
Physical app store in Pyongyang. Yeah. It's not like the app store on your phone. It's an app store on
Please walk us through this. Like you so I mean maybe you can think of like like GameStop, like when you used to
Right.
have to physically buy
right.
games.
Yeah,
It's like that
exactly for apps.
But like what like this the phone doesn't have a disk drive. Like do they just install for you while you're there? How does this work?
I think they enable it.
Oh.
So on
I
the
see.
outside, so
Uh-huh.
it has the capability to install it,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
But basically the phone is like are removed. Like they only have like texting.
I see. It's so
and-
pretty locked down.
Yeah, pretty locked
yeah.
down. completely locked down on like any apps.
Mhm.
So it only has like a basic functionalities and
Mhm.
maybe one game or two games.
Mhm.
And they actually have a um, North Korean version of Netflix
Oh,
that's called
really?
Giltongmu.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute, but doesn't that mean that they would have to have internet?
No,
No, but
it's
internet at least.
intranet.
Oh,
Intranet.
so
Yeah,
Wi-Fi is there
it's a
because it has to be wireless,
N-
right? 'Cause
it's
on a
not a
phone.
Wi-Fi. It's more of like 3G, 2G, like a
Oh, the
network.
cellular
Yeah,
network is there.
within North Korea.
Oh, so
Yeah,
it does have data
it
stream.
does have. Yeah,
but
it does
still
have a
within
data
the
stream.
internet. So you can't access the internet,
No,
but
you
you
cannot.
can access the streaming service.
It's within the
What
cell
kind of things
phone.
would people watch on there?
명령공 27호. You know, I can't wait to show you that movie. You would.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a and Taekyeon. I'm not sure if you. It's like a traditional like a North Korean like the founding the story of the Taekwondo and
Oh,
whatnot.
I know what Taekyeon is actually. I
Taekyeon.
practiced it for a while.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you
I
can show me. You can show me some moves.
yeah, it looks like kind of like dancing. I don't know if I can still have it. Maybe.
Yeah, and mostly it's like a brainwashing movies, right?
see.
And
Yeah,
like
propaganda.
music videos, propagandas, yeah,
Mhm.
and music videos of like, let's praise Kim Jong Un, you know. Yeah, and they have like North Korean version of like Flappy Bird, Angry Bird, you know, and like and also they have North Korean version of StarCraft.
No.
Yeah, they have a North
What?
Korean version of StarCraft.
Okay, well, I
Let's-
never heard of.
Yeah,
That's
let's
crazy.
yeah. If
Okay.
you research it, they're gonna
Alright.
yeah. They rip off everything.
Right.
they rip
yeah.
off
I mean, who's gonna come to
everything
North
and-
Korea and say, "Hey, you copied my stuff"?
Yeah, it's go. Nobody's gonna go like and copy strike. Take it down. You know. Yeah. So no. I don't know how possible it is, but like what I'm assuming is that hopefully North Korea is forced to open up the economy,
Mm-hmm.
right, and do like that means Kim Jong Un has to surrender a lot of things, right?
Nuclear
to
weapon, probably.
right, yeah, nuclear weapon, and possibly like do what UN tells them to do.
Mm-hmm.
That way, they can be
Yeah, a lot of human rights violation will need to be
addressed.
addressed. Yeah, not fixed, but addressed for sure.
And I don't think like North Korea will like willingly do that. But if North Korean people within North Korea are like rising up, right? Like knowing more of like what outside of North Korea is
Yeah.
like and what life would be, right?
Right. And I mean, that's part of the reason why it hasn't opened up in terms of the information exchange, right?
Right.
Set aside economy for a second, like that. The moment that North Korean people get true internet, that would be a huge threat to the regime, right? What do you think? I mean, let's imagine dream for a second, and this was a question I was asking earlier, except the audience of the internet was quite not right because the soldiers out there perhaps will never be allowed back in.
No, yeah.
But let's say for a moment that North Korea tomorrow somehow it started raining smartphones that had internet connection to the rest
Yeah.
of the world.
Yeah.
What do you think so people in Pyongyang, right?
Uh-huh.
Supposedly they're loyal to the regime,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, I mean, they were brainwashed all their life. They think Kim Jong-un is the best. And the brainwashing, like you talked about in an episode perhaps not released yet, you talked about you still didn't really exactly question the deity, if you would, of
Right.
the supreme leaders of Kim
Right.
Jong-il,
Yeah.
for example, until you started attending high school.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't immediately, oh, I'm out. I'm in U.S. Screw Kim Jong-il. It was not like that.
Yeah.
So I presume that just because people have internet, they're not going to immediately figure out that the leaders, their own leaders, are at fault, which that's the truth. But what do you think people would find to start kind of crumbling that brainwashing down? And what do you think would be useful? Like, what would people look up? What would people be most shocked by?
That's a great question. You know, South Korean drama and daily news, like South Korean
just like
news,
evening
like
news?
SBS,
Yeah.
Those news and like 1박 2일, like
Oh,
those
the
like a
entertainment
yeah,
programs.
entertainment program. I feel like that would wake people up because of the
Wow.
freedom that they have.
So
right?
it doesn't even have to target the content. Doesn't
No,
have to target North Koreans.
no. That would do the opposite. That would do the opposite, right? Because like, oh yeah, so North Korean regime is telling them, oh yeah, South Korea and United States is sending all these propagandas to us,
Yeah.
and don't watch it. That
I
would
see.
tell us. That would tell you that the North Korean regime is really bad. Kim Jong Il is really bad. Therefore, don't watch it.
I see. So people will kind of say, "Oh, nope, that's just propaganda. I'm not gonna believe it. I'm not gonna."
Yeah,
look at
and
it.
when you look at it, it actually says it, right?
Right.
And then I was like, oh wait, it does. So I probably shouldn't watch it.
My supreme leader warned me about this. I'm
Yeah,
gonna keep away.
yeah.
Oh.
Whereas if you were to make it fun, like entertainment program and
that's right.
dramas, right? That's gonna be like they're gonna get hooked. So I think like if one day, let's dream it, one day there's like raining smartphones in North Korea.
Or raining food.
Raining-
Thank you, Epic Hawk.
Yes. Raining food. I think that if we were to put in a lot of South Korean news and like the sitcoms, right? Especially sitcoms, I think it's gonna do really, really well. Instead of like
Wow.
like
It's just like watch how we live.
right, exactly.
Yeah, and just
yeah.
come to your own realization whether what you're in it is better
Mhm.
or what we have is better.
Yeah.
You know, that's really interesting is because that it seems that it did not change. There was a very scandalous event. I cannot quite exactly pin down when it had happened. It was in the 60s or 70s, really early. Lee Pyong-tae, I think he was Air Force captain in North Korea. He flew his MiG and defected to South Korea.
I remember that.
And,
yeah.
and then allegedly what got him I could be confusing it, but please correct me if I'm wrong here. But what got him to change his mind about his country was one day he was walking on the beach. He found garbage. This plastic bag, right? It was for ramen, right? So the instant ramen noodles, plastic bag. Somebody had eaten it and threw it in the trash. Don't do that. But
Save the turtles.
yes, that's right. And on the back of a South Korean origin, and it said, if you found the quality of this item unsatisfactory, or if this item had gotten damaged, or something had gone wrong in the transport process, call this number and we'll exchange it for you.
For free.
For free, right. And apparently that's what, like, kind of gave him this idea. Is like, what? This
I gotta see for
food-
myself.
Yeah, they just exchanged for free. They cared this much about the people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, in North Korea, it's a ration, right?
Yeah.
And you know what the higher ups do? They want to increase the weight, but with less rice. They wet it and they dry it, right? That so that
What?
the water actually can like, and they mix with rocks too, like
Oh, come on, that's messed up.
beach rock. I know exactly, and knowing that, of course, like seeing something like that, like would like completely question the entire like your existence, right? And also, I'm sure that person was
Yeah.
a smart person. And,
Yeah, right.
and
An elite, right? Air Force
elite,
captain,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, elite. So, like, I would often actually see like choco pie, like a when I was in Sariwon, especially.
Oh, you actually saw that?
I saw the choco
Oh,
pie.
that's South Korean snack, by
yeah,
the way.
snack. No, I didn't see the food itself, but the trash.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
trash on the street, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, choco pie. That's not a Korean word. Like, what is choco pie? Looking at that, and
Wow.
yeah, it just like I was really curious on what it was, and eventually, when I came to China, I realized, wow, okay, that's what choco pie was.
Did you get to eat it?
I got to eat it.
Did you
yes.
like it?
I loved it.
Oh, that's
yeah.
great. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I mean, so hypothetically, this customer service, right? You something wrong with your food. You bought a pack of ramen noodles and there's rocks in it. In South Korea, United States, you call the company and say, yo, what are you guys doing? What's your quality control like, huh? And then they'll be like, oh, sorry, we'll send you another box, whatever. North Korea, you get your ration, there's rocks in it, and it's like, can you go up to the person who gave you the ration? Like, yo, what's going on? This is supposed to be 1 kilogram. This is like half of this is rocks. Can you do anything like that? Can you complain anywhere? Like,
no, you can't complain anywhere.
why not?
I mean, because we think that it got damaged, on the way, or some rocks falling
Oh, so
in.
people don't really know to stand up for.
No, yeah,
Wow.
they can't question the regime. Like they can't, like that questioning regime could
Uh-huh.
lead you and your family to go to prison,
Wow.
and they don't want to do that.
And people know that and they just live in fear. Is that what it is? Like clearly,
Yeah.
like
Well,
like getting rocks in your rice is messed up.
yeah, it's also interesting that you bring that up because my brother's wife's grandfather,
Uh-huh.
sorry, my wife's sorry, my half brother's wife's
Uh-huh.
father,
I
he's
see.
quite older, and he grew up during the Japanese colonial.
Oh.
And then, like, it's his word. And he said to me, we didn't starve like this during the Japanese colonial.
Wow.
And that's what he said. Like, he's like, yeah, we didn't starve like this
Right.
during the Japanese colonial.
Wow.
Meaning that when Japanese was colonized Korea, they were
Uh-huh.
still fed really well.
Right.
But now they're
Right.
starving.
Wow.
Right. So he was complaining like
Uh-huh.
that to us, but of course not to anybody
But not
else.
to anyone
I mean,
else.
he's old, right? And
Uh-huh.
he really don't give a, you know.
Right.
So yes, there are people who complains,
Uh-huh.
but not directly to the regime. They don't file a complaint report.
There's
to the
no
regime,
1-800 number you can call.
There's no 1-800 number
to
they
complain.
can call. But that makes a lot of sense too, because a lot of, like, if you look at
Uh-huh.
the UN's like survey for North Korean defectors, or
Uh-huh.
like South Korean nonprofits, like, you know, survey on
Yeah.
North Korean defectors, like, why did you escape North Korea?
Mm.
Then 90% of them says that, oh, I watched a drama in South Korea.
Wow, 90%.
90% of them, and their motivation behind it was because
Uh-huh.
I want to experience like the life that people who are living
Uh-huh.
in that drama.
Wow.
I mean, which makes sense, you know. And I
Yeah.
watched like South Korean drama, like Gao Donghwa in North Korea too.
Oh wait, that was in North Korea.
In North Korea, yeah, Gao
Wow,
Donghwa.
very illegal.
Yeah, Odin, like Odin was with the
Uh-huh.
one
Oh,
bean.
that was big, yeah.
Sorry, Odin with
Was one of the beans.
no, two beans. No,
I forget who that is. I know it was
the
big
guy
drama.
was in the Squid Game, the brother. Have you watched Squid Game?
Yeah, Lee Byung-hun.
Lee Byung-hun, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see,
Odin
I
with
see.
Lee
What's his
Byung-hun.
English name? Doesn't he have an English name?
I don't know.
Maybe not. Anyways, the Squid Game, the masked person.
Yeah, masked person. Yeah,
Lee
and
Byung-hun, yeah.
and those kind of dramas, and what people like pay attention. This kind of underlines like what I was saying earlier
Uh-huh.
of like raining phone or raining food.
yeah.
We should put in like a lot of like sitcoms and reality shows and you know, those
Wow.
kind of informational
I
stuff
see.
in there.
Just daily mundane
Daily
stuff.
life, mundane stuff. Yeah, I was like, oh
Wow.
yeah, I get to wake up at 7 a.m. You know, I make my coffee. You know, I eat breakfast and you know, I do a daily devotional. You know,
Uh-huh.
and then I drive to work. I drive a hybrid.
Wow.
Like that in itself, it's mind blowing to
Right.
people
I
who's
can
like,
imagine.
you gotta wake up early in the morning, you gotta sweep the floor, and you gotta go pay respect to the statue of like, you know, Kim Il Sung and Kim Jong Il,
Gross.
you know, and then I gotta walk to, you know, work, and then we do like a 50-minute of like a 생활 통화, you know, it's
I
like
see.
gonna-
This is brainwashing.
you're
yeah,
brainwashing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And all those kind of things, and yeah, so going back to like. When people are watching like dramas, they don't like they of course like they would watch the main story too, but
Yeah.
they pay really close attention to like what kind of clothes you know people are wearing, what
yeah.
kind of food are they eating, like
Uh-huh.
what is the street like, what kind of car.
The backdrops.
Yeah, the backdrops of like
Uh-huh.
the B-rolls, right?
Yeah.
They care so much about B-rolls,
Uh-huh.
and that convinces people like if you watch that
Uh-huh.
enough, and when you realize, oh man, this is cool,
Uh-huh.
that moment people turns,
I see.
right? And then I'm gonna escape.
Wow.
And it's not as well, I mean, of course, like those people who escape, like just to give context, like so there are like 32,000 North Korean refugees
Mm-hmm.
have so far resettled in South Korea.
Uh-huh.
And all those 32,000 North Korean refugees are from the border town. Right?
Oh,
They're
where
not
they
from-
saw all that incoming media, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh,
And it
wow.
actually takes a lot longer to like those kind of medias, you know, and the
Right, it
news.
has to. They too have to ride super slow trains.
You're right,
So
right.
It takes a while. To
Takes
get
a while
around.
to get there.
I see. Well, I mean, this is great. We have our first question from Epic Hawk. I'm gonna read that very carefully there. What is your favorite American food, Charles?
Yeah, that's That's a great question. I mean, there are so many good food. Like so many good food. Like I love barbecue, I love hamburger, pizza. But if I have to choose between American food, right? Not
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
Vietnamese food, Thai food.
Yeah, let's start with the American,
American
classic
food?
American food. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with ribs.
Oh.
Oh man, you know there is a so in Kansas, right? There is a barbecue place called what is it called? There's a like a southern style ribs. Like I love like getting my
Kansas is not even that south.
yeah. Well, but I yeah. Is it? I thought it was south.
I mean,
It's like a
it's
east-
mid.
mid.
Yeah, Nebraska's like right center. Kansas is a little bit of south, and then it's yeah. But
Thank you.
anyhow.
Yeah, yeah. The the ribs, like I love it. I just love getting my hands dirty and just getting in there. Like I don't care. I don't care
Yeah.
who sees.
Yeah, wow. But other food, like let's
Yeah.
say expand it a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
Ribs, and then what else?
And then I will go with pizza. I
Ah.
love pizza, especially the one with it's called Super Supreme Pizza.
Where?
In Pizza Hut. That has a
You
cheese.
like Pizza Hut?
Dude, why? I like pizza.
Pizza Hut gets really bad rep around here. I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
They better sponsor me. So I start going
Pizza Hut,
North
if you're
Korean
listening.
endorses this
Super Supreme Pizza.
Super Supreme
Okay.
Pizza. Yeah,
It
because it
has-
has a cheese inside the
In
crust. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Jack Stack. That was the barbecue place that I was thinking of. Yeah. So if you
Oh,
look up Jack Stack
In Kansas.
in
Okay.
Kansas,
Wow.
yeah, it's like my
When
favorite.
did you have a chance to try this in Kansas? What?
I travel a lot.
Oh, I see.
Domino's or Pizza Hut? That's a great question.
I mean, I have my answer, but what's
Well, I mean, if we had Domino's where I live,
Uh-huh.
I mean, a Pizza Hut, I would go with Pizza Hut.
seriously?
Yeah, I would choose Pizza Hut all day, man. I love Pizza Hut.
I you were the first person that I heard that likes Pizza Hut over Domino's.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, another contest: Burger King or McDonald's?
McDonald's. The reason why is because I like their fries. Their
Yeah,
fries.
That's the right answer. You get
It's
the
like-
burger from Burger King, but get fries from
Oh,
McDonald's. and
really?
you have a perfect meal for yourself.
They recently came up with the SpongeBob burger at Burger King. Oh, is it Wendy's? Sorry.
Yeah, that,
I'm
that was
sorry.
Wendy's. I
Okay.
tried that, and I'm sorry, Wendy's. I think that's a gimmick.
Oh, really? It's-
Yeah,
it's-
I was a little. It's like they had pineapple frosty
Uh-huh.
because SpongeBob lives on pineapple, and they had a sandwich, but like it just tasted odd. The
Alright.
frosties tasted odd.
Okay, so Punch Bowl Haircut said, "Who would win in a fight? 1 million lions or 1 billion cows?"
No,
Dude,
no,
I-
crows.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Crows?
yeah.
Where?
The bird. It's not cows, right? Punch bowl haircut. Was it? Is it the bird? The crows, right? Caw-caw.
Oh,
Those, yeah.
crows. Oh,
Yeah.
not cows. Crows. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I read that wrong. Dude, I gotta go with 1 million lions because birds like 1 billion birds, 1 million lions.
A billion is a huge number. I mean, it's 1,000 times the number. It's a 1 to 1,000. So it's like it's same thing as saying 1 lion or 1,000 crows.
I would still go with 1 lion.
Okay, wow.
King of the jungle.
Punch bowl haircut says a crows. Yeah, CROW. Taco Bell or In-N-Out.
Oh, dude, I choose In-N-Out all day.
Really?
I love
Okay.
In-N-Out. Their animal fries. You know, it's. I actually tried Taco Bell once in the 13 years I've been in America.
What?
Once.
You
Taco
never.
Bell
So,
once.
so you went once and never returned.
I've never returned.
I feel like you missed out.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. But what happened? Clearly, something happened.
I just didn't like.
What did you have?
I think I had some tacos.
Okay.
I can't remember which
I mean,
taco.
Right. So if you went to Taco Bell, having tacos is perhaps an obvious thing to do, but they have a variety of things. Why am I shilling Taco Bell right now? But
Sorry.
there are. You just kind of need to know what to get there. All right. Yeah. That's.
Yeah,
The fast food's gotten definitely very expensive. Where we live, the food just life is expensive right now, so we have to try our best to cook at home.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, In-N-Out is still affordable. I think if you
I
don't go
think so.
crazy. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah, the Taco Bell, I do agree that it's gotten pretty
Yeah.
expensive. That you just walk out of Taco Bell with $25 bill and say, "Hold on a minute."
Yeah, I mean, even like McDonald's too.
Yeah,
like, gotten
yeah.
so expensive
Ooh,
these
Baja
days.
Blast is a good one. Yeah, Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Have you tried that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that could have changed your mind.
Is it? Is it from Taco Bell?
It's Taco Bell's drink, and you can get a freeze of it or a regular. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, I also want to ask you. Let's see. Jack Martin. Okay, first says, what's the chance of people being able to escape North Korea after the new border construction and destruction, in your opinion?
Because North Korea has been blowing up the roads to South
China?
Korea. To South Korea.
So South Korea.
Like constructions, yeah.
I see. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that is a great question because, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, since 2012, like right after I escaped, the numbers have been decreasing significantly, because of the Kim Jong Un and the border crackdowns, and people cannot really do business with China anymore. And especially, I know a girl who escaped in 2015. But I think she actually lived in China for a bit, so probably like 2 to 3 years in China. So she have escaped North Korea in like 2012 and lived in China for 3 years, and then came to South Korea. But yeah, I would say it's pretty tough because Kim Jong Un has like a. So, and also fun fact. Well, not a fun fact, probably a sad fact. Sorry, but North Korea, there is like many types of like military and police officers, right? There is like 안전부, 보위부, and Grupa. So did I ever tell you Grupa?
I think you did, but I forgot.
Yeah, so Grupa is the people who works directly
under
the Kim Jong Il and Kim Il Sung's, and like Okwa, Yukwa, like
it's like their secret service.
Secret service, yeah. So the border was controlled by like secret police, right? But after Kim Jong Un came to power, the Grupa is controlling the border.
Wow. So the
Secret Service is
reporting directly to Kim Jong Un.
Yep, reporting directly. So therefore, like yes, they could be bribed, right? They could get some money, but
if anything, did that amount have gone up crazy? Probably
crazily, yeah. And also they don't really need to, because I mean they live in Pyongyang, and
they don't need the money.
They live in Pyongyang, and they have a family in Pyongyang, and they get treated pretty well, and they just need to come down once in a while, to just like crack down.
I see.
So why would I do this?
Wow.
So yeah, it's gotten significantly difficult. Yeah, so that's what I think, because like the numbers actually shows like from 2012 to 2020, like it's just like
dropped off.
Yeah, dropped off. Like I think 2020 was like 0. I think.
Wow. Yeah, I mean during COVID, right? That makes sense. The travel anywhere was really difficult, but it makes sense.
It's really interesting. We can transition into like North Korean refugees in South Korea, because that's where the majority. So in 2020, 0 people escaped from North Korea, but 1 person went back voluntarily. I think he swam across back into North Korea.
Do you know what happened to that guy?
Yeah, he was accused of like sexual assault.
In South
Korea.
Oh, I see.
And he was about to go to prison, and he escaped back into North Korea.
I mean, South Korean prison is way easier than North
Korea. I know,
What?
Right?
It's warm and they feed you 3 times a day.
I know, you don't have to work. I mean, like.
Yeah, I mean, do we know what happened to that guy after he went to North Korea?
I'm not sure. I think his name was Kim Kum-hyuk. If you search it, like it was pretty big news. I think it has been more recent than 2020. I think it might have been like 2022.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. But also like here's the thing too. Like there's a lot of conflict, right? In between like North Korean refugees and the South Korean like citizens, because like back in the 80s or 90s, when North Korean refugees come to South Korea, they're treated as heroes.
Yeah, that's right.
But nowadays, if a North Korean comes to South Korea and get the citizenship, they're kind of like perceived as like burden almost
to the society. Receiving the taxpayer dollars for resettlement, re-education, and things like that. Yeah.
Right. So we need like a better education system where they can actually get a real job.
I see.
Like where. Because like when they come to South Korea, what they teach you is like, nail salon, a waiter. I mean, those are practical, right? Those are
Right.
practical.
Yeah,
You can get a
doesn't
job
need a
right
lot of
away.
knowledge. Yeah, and
Yeah.
generally anyone at any age could learn
Right,
that, I
right,
guess.
yeah. Whereas, like, if you want to go to school, like, you have to spend like many years.
Yeah, I see a lot of a challenge in that. Like, even if South Korea wanted to train them, and by the way, like, I'm all for it. I think it should happen. Like, the people who lived the life just because they were born, 30 miles north of, where all the people who are privileged in Seoul live, like, we should help the people in need. It's like that's the bottom line. But
Yeah.
I see the challenges because I mean, of this. The South Korean society is crazy competitive. So competitive, in fact, that there are many examples of this. But most recent example is South Korean current president, tried to up the enrollment cap of the medical schools in South Korea because South Korea recognized that there is need for more doctors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And doctors decided to strike because they thought that they're going to have more competition and they would essentially make less money. So there is an ongoing kind of bit of a healthcare crisis that the doctors are just like, I'm not going to work because like the government is taking my job away and this is not even talking about, the immigrants or anything like that. We're talking about the country needs more doctors. So we're going to allow the med schools to enroll more medical students.
Yeah.
Yet this huge thing has occurred. So imagine, right, what they would say if like, well, we're actually going to teach the North Korean refugees on your tax dollars.
Yeah.
High level skills. I think some greedy people will flip out.
No, but I mean, it makes sense, because South Korean society is almost like everything is based on numbers, right? Like,
yeah.
Like you getting a higher score, from an exam,
Yeah, that's right.
that determines life and death, basically, right? And
I don't know about death. In the context of talking about North Korea, like the South Koreans are never risking their lives necessarily, but
there is like
the perception is that like, oh my God, my life is ruined because I didn't do well in the college entrance exam.
I feel like there are certain cases of suicide, right? And because like
that's true.
Yeah, because of like the pressures and because of like getting into good college, that means everything to them.
Right. So
right?
if some people, if they don't, right, they would throw themselves off a building.
Right.
Yeah.
And because like they spend like when they're such a young age, they go to school and then they go to library, they do homework, and then they go to Kwae.
Talk about propaganda and brainwashing. There isn't North Korean brainwashing in South Korea, but there is still like if you don't get into good college, and what South Koreans mean by that is that you mentioned I went to college X.
Yeah.
People go, if you can't do that, and people say, oh, what's that? Then you failed, right? That's the propaganda. I mean, it's a there's no supreme leader enforcing that, but culturally the uber competitiveness it has its downside.
Right. And basically students like they're spending so many hours in their lives like just going to school and learning and basically sleeping. I remember like I think I saw an interview with this one South Korean woman who was like a student and like, what is your dream? And she said like, getting 8 hours sleep.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Because it's like so competitive and then North Korean refugees comes and you can get to college until like you're 35. It's like they increase their age.
Right, and imagine how angry. I mean, in fact, you don't have to imagine. You can go ask people. Some people are really angry about that.
Yeah, which is really, So bottom line is like, I feel like we have to have different education system, like that actually allows North Korean refugees to actually learn.
Give them an opportunity to learn properly.
And then make money for themselves.
I see.
And they get pretty good benefits too when they go to South Korea.
I see. Well, next question.
Going back, sorry.
Right. So we had some question about 1 million Charles and 1 billion Mikes. Well, I'll leave that up to your imagination for now. But I want to answer. Let's see. On the question of reintegration, could they be subsidized by the rest of the world? Would that help South Korea deal with it?
Oh, sorry. I was reading. Would you rather marry someone who has a hot and
Charles.
smelled
Okay, fine.
terrible? Sorry. Or smelled delicious and looked terrible? That's a funny question. I think.
I mean, it's a, we're talking about a capitalist society, South Korea,
Yeah.
and especially South Korea, where they can fix the looks just fine.
That's right.
However, if you're looking at the
Smell.
economic, smell is a lot easier problem to fix. um, yeah, well, I mean, we're both very lucky to have married people
Mhm.
who smell fantastic and are very good looking.
Yes.
So
yes.
thankfully, not a problem we have to worry about.
On the question of
Reintegration, could
Mhm.
they be subsidized by the rest of the world? And would that
Mm.
help South Korea deal with it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, but here's the thing too. Like North Korean refugees, they don't choose to go to different countries because like
Language,
same
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
culture, language, and
I mean-
like a lot of refugees coming to America. Like, I mean, there's like almost like 400 officially documented North Korean refugees in America.
United States, yeah.
Yeah, and they choose to go to South Korea because of the cultures and stuff.
But also because there's amazing support. You said how if
housing,
you had arrived
money.
just merely months later, you wouldn't have gotten anything because
Right.
you were over 18. And
Right,
It seems
yeah,
that for
yeah.
cases like yours, U.S. government says, "Welcome to America, landed opportunity, good luck."
Yeah, that would have been. You have to pay for the plane ticket too. Like
What?
yeah, from Thailand to America, you have to pay for
What
the plane
money do
ticket.
you have?
So you come to America, you work, and you pay them back.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's like taking a loan.
that's amazing what the South Korea is doing. I mean, again, like according to the Constitution, they're rescuing their citizens, right, who were abducted by the North Korean gang, cartel. So,
Yeah.
I think by subsidies, I don't know. I mean, let's say that it happens, right? So other countries are paying for it, right? North Korea, for whatever reason, is having a record amount of escapees, and the world for once decided to agree and said, "We'll help you." I think it. I think it would in terms of the financials.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that will solve the jealousy that stems from the innate competitiveness that's currently
Mm.
in the culture.
Mm.
Like even if you're not paying any taxes, imagine like South Korean students, for example, you're not making money. They may still be jealous of the people who are getting the benefits, right? Because they have to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not exactly sure the fact that it's coming from other countries. I think they could easily say, "Well, I'm working this hard. Who's helping me?" Right?
Yeah.
All they did was escape. Again, not a fair thing to say at all. But the culturally, it will be a challenging issue still. But I would love to see the subsidy happen if some sort of international organization, UN or something, said that we will help your country deal with your issues. I think that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing in Australia, we have a lot of people from Asia come to study. Like, surely that's
Mhm.
cheaper and more beneficial than fighting another war. Yes. I'm not exactly sure that is a true statement. Well, I mean, is this perhaps, Jack, you're referring to the North Korea sending soldiers to Ukraine or
No, but I mean, like a lot of, because I know a lot of friends in South Korea
Uh-huh.
who are North Koreans. They go to English program in Australia,
oh,
and they go. I think they go for like 2 years, and they live there and they learn English. I think
right.
that's
I know
what he meant.
Australia has a pretty strong work study program as well.
Yeah. I mean, like that would be great. North Korean refugees, like if there
That's
was
true.
more opportunities like that in the other countries, like they come resettle in South Korea.
Uh-huh.
And South Korea support system is like, okay, so we're gonna allow you 2 years in South Korea, and you do have options to travel outside of South Korea, and just travel
Interesting.
around.
Okay,
Like
well,
you don't
maybe-
have to.
I love it because like we're doing rubber ducking. So on the rubber ducking podcast, if you listen to episode 1, we explain why we're called what we are.
Yeah.
But the part of the intention was to talk about the issues and see if any insights arise that could, drive us to a solution. And maybe, I mean, it sounds interesting that there will be opportunities for people to go travel to other countries. They can open up programs for refugees to do work studies and whatever. And really, like, learn the
Yeah.
culture, learn the language,
Yeah.
but earn your way
Yeah.
by working here and
Yeah.
contributing to society.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a. I think that would be a great, like a
All right.
contribution, like subside. Epic Hawk. Did you hear about the report that the North Korean soldiers sent to fight? Yeah, got access to smartphone and immediately became addicted to porn.
Corn. He said corn. Yeah.
But it's stands
yeah.
for porn.
Yeah, no,
Corn,
we
sorry.
actually talked about that. If you
Yeah.
rewind the stream, we did talk about it, and talked about how the North Korea actually does not have corn.
Yeah,
Well, it has corn, but not the PORN.
yeah, yeah. So it's. I mean, like we have to take it into account that there are people, and there are. I bet they're like from anywhere between 17 to 25, and they're still kids.
Oh,
Basically.
right. I forget that they're young people. My
They're young
gosh.
people. They're younger than us,
Yeah.
and they had no choice, right,
Mhm.
but to say yes because, like, I'm serving for the country
Mhm.
and I am dying for a great cause. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for the clarification, Jack. More like the conflict on the border and the risks involved with that. People coming to study. I mean, the reintegration. These are the people who have escaped North Korea. And the thing about the international society kind of trying to help with it is that, I mean, I don't know, what is North Korea's attitude about South Korean government, encouraging and reintegrating these people who have escaped? Surely isn't favorable, although I don't think that's something that comes up a lot. And I don't know from kind of international politics standpoint, like any other country that doesn't have any skin in the game,
Yeah.
to say Australia, for example, is like, we welcome North Korean refugees, in order to reduce the conflict in the Korean Peninsula, we will accept them. But that would be, I mean, first of all, Australia is a long way away, but maybe like other nearby countries did that. I have a feeling that could also lead to unnecessary, perhaps, right, from say Australia or other countries' perspective, conflict with North Korea. Is that something that you want?
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why Japan is not accepting any North Korean refugees.
Oh, they don't?
They don't. Yeah.
Wow, I
They-
didn't know that.
Yeah, so in Thailand you could actually choose like either UK or America or South Korea. Those are the only three countries I believe.
Oh, UK, South Korea.
Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
what's the third one?
UK, South Korea, and America.
Oh, US.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. They're really good way to reach out to those in Ukraine to allow them to escape. Yeah, like I was thinking of like filming a video and directly speaking to my brothers and in North Korea. I'm sure that like some of them will watch it.
Yeah,
I think media is the best way to like TikTok or Instagram.
so. Sounds like maybe based on what you talked about, like just showing your everyday life in
Basically,
the United States,
yeah.
and what kind of lies they've been living in about how evil the Americans are.
Yeah.
Doing mundane stuff, like exactly what said. You make coffee in the morning, do your devotional, and drive to work in your
Yeah.
hybrid.
Yeah.
Not cow.
You don't have to smell the cow poops, every time.
Yeah. I mean, there are still parts of the United States that.
I thankfully I have not been there, so.
Oh, I see. Yeah. And the cow, you can definitely smell the cow pies if you want to.
Cow pies. Yeah, so I was thinking of filming a video and just speaking directly to North Korean soldiers and just tell them about the life in America. And yeah, that will be like a juicy slap to Kim Jong Un's face, but at least I'm doing
Is that our
something
tagline?
right.
Rubber Ducking Podcast. # juicy slap to Kim Jong Un.
That would get his attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there are like 18 people already escaped, right? That's a known confirmed
Wow.
case.
Well, hey, that's more than
Confirmed
anybody
case.
did in 2020.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, in fact, I feel like from 2020 to 2024.
Yeah, soon enough, I think. I mean, this is a speculation, but I think if this trend continues, and I do hope that the war ends soon, to end all these atrocities. But if North Korea keeps doing these things where they still keep sending people out into the international community for whatever reason, I think we'll hear from them. I think those people will eventually get picked up by the major media, and they'll speak out about the conditions.
Yeah, yeah. So soon enough, because like
Yeah.
those 18 people, 18, 18 people, 18 people who escaped, like soon enough, like we'll hear from them. Like,
Yeah.
we will
And
hear
we'll
from
get
them.
them on our show.
Yes, and we will bring them to the Overducking Podcast.
Oh wow. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, good episode so far. The night is getting a little bit late now. Any last questions from the two concurrent viewers we have? We'd love to take them. But any other kind of remarks for your listeners, fans, followers, Charles?
Yeah. I would say thank you so much for joining and listening to our podcast and my story. It helps us a lot, and knowing that there are faithful fans out there listening to our show, and the thing that we're trying to do is raise awareness of what's happening in North Korea and the story that I lived and countless other people are living currently, and hopefully to bring awareness and really just put pressure into North Korea so that hopefully one day North Korean regime will open up North Korea economically. So that is my goal, and raising awareness is my goal
Right.
as well.
We're still not asking for money. I mean, typically shows like this or content like this, they would ask for donations. We just ask that you share Charles's story so that people just get more interested.
Grassroots movement.
Yeah, and be better informed. One last question, I guess we'll take. The guy who had escaped by just running across the DMZ.
Right. He got shot like 9 times.
Yeah, the South Korean hospitals discovered that he had just stomach full of tapeworms.
Yeah.
I mean, last time he did, I think, end up giving an interview, I thought.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, but I mean, because he got so much attention, that's such a crazy way to escape. I mean, yours was also crazy, but I'm glad you didn't get shot.
I mean, he was more. He got a story to tell, man.
Yeah. So, I believe you should be able to find. I don't know about direct interview, but at least there are quotes from him.
Yeah.
And how he's readjusting and things like that.
Yeah.
That's available. So, yeah.
Alrighty, thank you so much for tuning in today. I think we're gonna go live again next Friday.
I believe so. So we actually do record/film our podcast every Friday, typically at about 8 p.m. Pacific time. And we decided every time we do, we'll just go live. So we would love to continue this live stream and to answer Epic Hawk again. Our plan is to feature more.
Yes, that is
North
correct.
Koreans.
Yep. So not just North Korean refugees, but refugees in general.
That's right, from all
and their
kinds of
story.
different countries.
Yeah.
We actually did already do one from somebody who escaped Cuba.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that is coming up in our queue. After we're
soon.
done chronicling Charles's journey. So it's coming up.
Yeah,
well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
All right, I'll
have a
see you
good one.
guys next time. Bye.
Bye.